Hello, Jason. How are you?
Doing well, Ronja. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. A bit nervous. It's our first time at WTF, Wholesome Twin Flame Coaching. Pretty exciting. So what are we talking about today?
I believe the topics of today were getting into what twin flames are, the general question of what is this in general, and all of the misconceptions and misunderstandings that some of us have going into these.
Right, and little disclaimer, we're not going to get to all of them. Since it's our first broadcast and we're running a bit short on time, apologies ahead of time. And there's lots of ideas on what twin flames actually are. We're just going to talk about a few points and then open it up to our very first live attendant, actually, with a question, hopefully, that we can then discuss, right?
Sounds good.
Okay, so, I have a whole list that I got from the internet of all the people out there who claim to know what twin flame relationships look like and what the attributes are, so that people know, okay, is this actually a twin flame relationship I'm in? It's not. So I have a whole list of things that, Jason, what do you think is a twin flame relationship? What makes it different from other relationships?
That's a good question. There's, like you say, there's so much out there on what it is, what it isn't. I know when I first got into it, it seemed a whole lot more like this fantasy fairy tale type of thing that once you met and got together, the rest of your life was just supposed to be blissful and happy and this wonderful path of just everything being great.
Yeah, but why is that? Why did you feel that way? Some people say that it's like this utter and total bliss. You're so compatible, you're so harmonious, you feel drawn to each other. Is that what you mean?
And there's a dynamic to that. There's the degree of intensity that's involved in this relationship. It does provide that swing. And especially in the first, whenever things were getting started, there wasn't anything beyond it. It was that total bliss. It was totally wrapped up in just the bliss of being around that other person. Having that deeper connection is what sets this aside from any relationship I've had. In comparison to just relationships with people, yes, you can reach those points of having a really loving, deep connection, but not to the level that your soul connects with another soul in this twin flame kind of a relationship. It is partially that other half, that mirror half, that seeing that other side of you, yet also being able to take it in and work with it and grow with each other. And that is the bliss and the harmony and what kind of goes throughout that, as long as you're in that harmonious relationship and that harmonious union where you have a standard understanding and agreement and you're working together. It is this potential for a very blissful, prosperous path to advance you through and to help both of you grow.
Right. And you're super drawn to each other, aren't you? That's pretty much one of the points that everybody that I've researched online says, that the attraction to each other is just super intense. And that's on a physical level, on a mental level, and on a spiritual level, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Blissful and so different from a soulmate relationship, I find. I've fallen in love with soulmates before, but I kind of always knew that they weren't even meant to last, really. I wanted them to, of course, it felt so comfortable, but at the same time, a lot of those soulmates just had soul contract. We fulfill the purpose for each other in order to grow spiritually, and then we break apart. And I know exactly what those lessons were, and I'm very grateful for having been in all of these relationships, no matter how hurtful it was in the end. But a twin flame relationship is still different from that. There's not so much a soul contract of one thing that you have to learn. It's more like it's more like you're graduated into going to a completely new school. Like, it's not just one thing you're supposed to learn, like master a foreign language or whatever. It's like you're mastering life. There's so many aspects suddenly that you're required to learn with your twin flame. And this is really what makes it very complicated and, well, sometimes hurtful, of course, but mostly I think I'd like to call it challenging, because it really pushes you to learn major life lessons. And one of the things that I read online mentioned things like forgiveness, gratitude, empathy, and open-mindedness.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's more of an all-encompassing, wholly involved kind of a connection that you have. And with that being said, there's so much importance and so much attention that needs to be given to the whole aspect of the relationship, the spiritual, the mental, the support, every aspect encompassing it. Because as soon as you start letting those little pieces slide, this relationship's so intense it gets off balance in roller coaster speeds, and you're just up and down and in a crazy turn if you allow yourself to let any of those aspects slip. I mean, it really is building you up to be your ultimate potential, and in doing so you have to wholly be in there and wholly be involved, or you're gonna slip. You're gonna be unbalanced, and that unbalance, if it goes unattended, just multiplies, and you end up in quite a landslide before you know it.
Yes, and that's actually what I've heard from a lot of other coaches I've been working with about a lot of other twin flame relationships. At first, they were so blissfully happy. They thought they had found their life partner. They moved away together to home country, whether it's Spain or England or whatever, and then just things totally imploded, and they split up again. And that's why on the internet, if you research twin flame relationships, you have all these different accounts of, you're not meant to stay together, you're just supposed to, I don't know, teach each other a lesson and then split up again, or you are supposed to be together. It's like the perfect, most blissful state you can ever be in with another person. And I find that both of those truths are true. It really just depends on how you handle it as a partner in a twin relationship, because since it pushes you to become your fullest, to grow to your fullest potential, if one of you slacks, either one, and things get out of balance, which they can do very quickly, things implode really easily. So whatever you hear on the internet, it seems to be true. So now it's just a matter of finding out what is true for you, and how would you like to grow as a person as best as you can, so you can stay in your twin flame relationship. Or if you are not in one yet, how can you grow as a person and actually foster self-love and empowerment to the point where you can affect it? Because this, with the new energies in this world, this is the season to find each other and to really find the people that push you to your limits so that you can grow to your best potential. It is quite exciting. Definitely exciting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good point. I know when I was in it and dealing with a lot of others that were in twin flame relationships and talking to them, I kept seeing this kind of reoccurring pattern, how they'll totally split and block each other out and not talk, and it's the greatest thing and the worst possible thing all wrapped in one sometimes. Because, and in saying that, I don't ever mean to say by any means that it's a negative thing or it's a bad thing, but the separation that you get from it, the rejection aspects, the really being pushed away by the person that you love with everything you are, it just kind of leaves you at this baffled and confused state so many times of, I just feel so lost and rejected. And ironically, a lot of that seems to be our own karma. And sometimes, at least in my instance, I was rejecting and blocking her out so many times that I didn't realize. There were so many things that I wish I could have kind of gone back and slapped myself across the face and woken myself up in the relationship, because there's so much of that. I was asleep, I was oblivious, and I thought I was doing the typical what we're supposed to do kind of a thing as a man, getting a job, figuring things out, and really focusing on my career. But that wasn't really the appropriate time for that. There's always time to get a career, to get a job, to have things to do. But all it would have taken was a few moments every day to like show her I appreciated her, I loved her, to really express that extent of what I felt inside and what she meant to me, that I never did manage to get out. And as far as I know, she has no idea the depths of like how I truly feel, because I never really expressed that, and in many ways didn't support her, didn't comfort her, didn't give her simple things that she needed, and in my mind had overcomplicated it to a point where, oh, I can't do this, you're asking too much. But she really wasn't. All she was asking for is some way to be there a lot of times, and just to say, hey, it'll be okay, we'll make it through this one way or another, it's, you know, it's gonna be all right. And
yeah, that's what you're saying is very interesting, because it's not like you didn't show her that you loved her. All the things that you did do, like feeling like a provider, looking for a job or a career in order to make her life comfortable and not end up living under a bridge. Those are very caring and loving things. The difference is, however, that it's very 3D. It's very third dimension.
mm-hmm.
And relationship really pushes us to our spiritual limits. How much do we want to stay in this whole energy of worrying about money, worrying about career, when the twin flame relationship really gives us the opportunity to focus on the divine within ourselves and trust everything is perfect, everything comes from inside of us, and the more we feel, the more we will become abundant in so many things. But if we start rejecting the abundance of the love that we are already in with this relationship, and all other things kind of follow suit. Well, I've noticed. Because a lot of couples that have broken up in same couples, the rejection in regards to love, so the emotional part kind of reflected in all other aspects of their life as well. Suddenly they were broke, or they broke, and out of money, or other things happen. So twin flame relationships are so intense because we always get reflected what's now. At some point, if you don't learn to love yourself to the degree that the divine calls us to, we will notice the repercussions in very fast. Whether we lose our twin flame or we struggle in other aspects, which then, of course, you know, everything happens for a reason, nothing is ever bad. We create in order to learn. So coming to this realization just kind of pushes us toward, okay, what can we do now? Having realized this, feeling this rejection that we sent out previously, referred to karma, how can I transform this and transmute this to self-love? Can I practice forgiveness for myself so that I can then more easily forgive the other person? Because as in every relationship, it's two humans involved that we think that we get annoyed by. You know, it's all so many levels, but it always starts, or at least never stops being about us, with us, with our personal self. That's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's probably a point. I mean, I'd worked on kind of cultivating and harvesting some self-love, but I probably honestly wasn't really adept at that myself. I know being a man and growing up in this kind of a culture, it's definitely not something emphasized in West Texas for, you know, men to be self-loving.
Anywhere in the world, right? We learn to love ourselves. People usually tell us, you know, if you do anything that remotely, well, that's really just basic self-care. Other people get jealous. They have their own, you know, morals or codes of behavior, and anything that you do that is not to their liking, they suddenly say, well, you're being selfish. And really, it's just a matter of self-care. How many people do we know who cannot even say no to a simple request? But suddenly you have a family of 20 people, everybody wants something from you, you cannot say no. Where's your own time? Where's your own self-care? It gets out of hand really, really quickly. So twin flame relationship can really push you toward learning a lot of things, whether it's learning to say no every once in a while as a basic means of self-care, and just as one of the many steps you can take towards self-love. So maybe this will make things clearer for our viewers what a twin flame relationship is really about. And we're not saying that you cannot learn these things with other people in your life, obviously, but a twin flame relationship in this regard is much more. Because the connection is also very, very deep. I noticed, for instance, that even across a long distance, I can feel very much what's going on in my twin flame. And that doesn't make life easier, trying to figure out what's yours, how to, you know, transmute it to divine love. And yeah, if you're working on yourself and you still feel proud, excuse my French, maybe it's not even yours. But there's so many aspects to learn, kind of crazy.
That's, yeah, that, like you say, that long distance connection is, it's definitely something I've been working on dealing with. And every time I kind of get back to her and thoughts of her, I really just try to do that. Just try to send love out and just leave it at that. Kind of pull any intentions, expectations, or anything like that out of it, and just send love. Love, gratitude, and apologies for the back aspect, but no, really, I mean, I've really focused on just trying to send love and let that be all that I send into that anymore.
Yeah.
As it comes up. As we both know, some days are easier than others, but and that's what's kind of baffling about it, is the intensity it has and the strength it has to stick around and stay around. That's one big key you see is typical relationships or regular relationships. When you're done with them, you can be done with them. You can walk away, you can go on your way, you can live your life. It's all good and happy, no problem. Yeah, I attempted that with this. It doesn't play that well. And you can go along for a few days, maybe a few weeks, and then all of a sudden you'll be doing something that just like all hits you. But it doesn't hit you even on a mental level. It hits your heart and it hits your soul and it resonates, and it's just like, whoa, what? I thought I was good. Where is this coming from? And the next thing you know, it's all right there and it's all present again. And like you say,
that's why they say that in same relationships, they break up and come back together. People never really leave each other. I mean, like magnets, they, you know, repel each other and then come back. Repel, come back, repel, come back. Might be a pattern, we'll see. It's only been a few years, so we'll talk again in 20. But I think there's one live viewer, and I was wondering if she might have a question that she'd like to submit in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. If we have any questions, feel free to post them in there.
So there's another point on my list that I thought was interesting. I can't find it. Oh yeah, feeling like you're at home with the twin flame. I certainly found that to be true, because there's a feeling of coming home to yourself. Because the connection that you have. Well, the theory that the twin flame is really part of your own soul. You're the two souls, two parts of the same soul, and you're supposed to come back together. I'm not quite sure how much I buy into this. My personal experience, and when I was sitting with spirit and investigating that, it's been a bit different. So people might just see it different depending on what they like to believe, what comforts them to believe, what they're being given information. I'm not even sure it's that important. But what I did notice was that your twin flame is definitely a mirror of yourself in a lot of ways. However, you're still kind of distinct enough to realize, okay, if one of you doesn't keep up on the spiritual growth scale there, things are bound to kind of go up until they're caught up.
Okay.
So what do you think about that? Is the twin flame a mirror or part of your soul? What's your definition, Jason?
Well, I know when I first started getting into it, there was a lot about what they'd call the mirror exercise. And at first I didn't quite follow it. I can't say I've ever really practiced it and gone through all the steps and things that I should have, but I do see the importance, and it did really click, and I did start understanding that so many times it wasn't ever anything she did, it wasn't ever anything that was going on with her necessarily, but there is this unique aspect of they reflect the things that you need to work on and the things that are going on within you. And the more that I would allow myself to be okay with the understanding that whatever's frustrating me isn't her, and the more I'd be okay with digging into me and seeing which part of me was acting up, the more productive that would be, and the more positive events would flow from working on those things. The more I closed down and ignored those, the worse and more unbalanced everything got also. But it's a very unique opportunity to be shown a mirror image of a lot of things going on within you, to give you that opportunity to work on and to grow and to work with. But like you say, and I've mentioned, as soon as one or the other person shut down or stopped working, then you're not going anywhere, and you're putting such an unfair load on the other person that's still trying to work, because they're sitting there spinning their wheels in the mud and just trying to get out of this muck hole and not going anywhere, and you're just throwing more mud and water in it and going, hey, what's up?
Yep. Oh, that happens to the best of us. So, looks like the mirror aspect is something we could definitely talk about more, and maybe even come up with an interesting exercise for next time.
Yeah.
Idea. And anybody who's watching now or seeing this later, please go ahead and submit your questions. We'll be live every Monday now at a given time. I live in London, Jason's in Texas, so just to get the time straight, it's a bit confusing. I don't want to tell you the wrong time. So just look in the description and you'll get the time for your time zone and join us live. Submit your questions ahead of time or participate here. We plan on having the live stream for 30 minutes and we'll record them all so you can access them later. Thank you so much for attending this time. Again, this is Ronja, Bliss-Life coach, and Jason.
Thank you so much. We enjoyed all the activity and participation. It's always great to get together with Ronja and have a conversation. I think, as we've found out, we can talk for hours on this topic or many others. So definitely looking forward to digging in deeper and sharing what we've learned and possibly giving some tips and hints that'll maybe help others have a smoother travels and path through this. That it would definitely be great and fulfilling for us just to see and know that others are getting the blissful aspects of the experience and able to proceed down the path a little more smoothly than some of our experiences have been.
It'd be lovely. Okay, well, thank you so much, Jason. I will see you next Monday. Thanks, everybody, for attending. Take care.